If Belle was ugly, would Lumiere have been like, "Oh, this is the gal"?
I mean, I feel like he's going to say that with any girl that walks through. Because this is the first girl, isn't it? In all the years that they've been.
See, I don't know. Have ugly girls come through and they're like, "Eh." Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Movie Night with the Youngs. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Nicole.
My voice cracked a little bit there. And we are two sisters, for everybody who's new here. We're two sisters who are rewatching all the movies of their childhood and talking about how they affect us now as adults. I will be very honest, something that's hitting us hard as adults is time. We're shooting very late in the day today, and we are tired. And it is,
Yes.
We're in our mid-30s.
It may show.
It may show. So we apologize. But hopefully, as we get into this movie that we're doing this week, we'll get hyped because it is my favorite Disney movie of all time. Oh, we are starting a new month. We are now going back to our every month is a new theme. And this month, we are doing Disney classics. Disney classics. Hopefully, by the ones that we pick, you guys will understand which ones those are and what we mean by that. This week, we are doing my favorite Disney movie of all time, not even classic, of all time, Beauty and the Beast from 1991, directed by Gary Truesdale and Kirk Wise, starring Paige O'Hara, Robbie Benson. Ooh, I was going to switch those. Robbie Benson, Richard White, Jerry Orbach, and Angela Lansbury. Probably first off the bat, I didn't realize this movie came out in 1991.
That sounds about right. Did you think it was earlier?
I thought it was later. I thought it was mid 90s because, like I said, this is my favorite movie. So 1991, I was 3.
Math is not my subject, so can't ask me.
Yeah, I was 3. What? I don't know how old I was. I was 3. Yeah, I was 3 years old. And it's my favorite, and it hit me so hard, and I'm just surprised that it was that young, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like me.
There's that energy lull we were talking about. Okay. Well, why don't we just get into it then? So, Beauty and the Beast, we open up on a little narration from our amazing narrator who tells us a story about a prince who lived in this wonderful castle. And one night there was a huge storm and a beggar woman came and offered the prince a rose in exchange for a place to stay from the storm. And the prince, being a jerk face, basically told her, "You're gross, you're ugly, you're not staying here. Go away, beggar woman." And the woman basically was just like, "You know what, your pride is going to get you." And she transformed into this amazingly beautiful enchantress who he then begged for mercy. And she said, "I'm now putting a spell on you that will change you into an ugly, ugly beast. And you have to find someone who will love you for you and you love them back before your 21st year. And this rose that I'm now giving you wilts away. And I'm changing every single person in your castle into ugly, ugly pieces of furniture and objects." That was a really terrible rundown. It really was. But I think first off the bat, how old is the prince? Because it said in your 21st year, this guy looked like he was already 21.
Yeah, I actually had that written down in my notes too, how old he was.
Yeah, first
how
of all,
many years had gone by?
Yes. Also, one, why is the prince answering his own door? Doesn't he have servants for that? Why is he answering the door? Also, again, this is a Disney conundrum. Where are his parents?
Yeah.
If he's supposed to be a prince under 21, where are his parents in all this?
They don't exist. Disney movies don't have parents.
They
only have one parent.
Which we find out meeting our main character, Belle, she only has a father. I don't understand the whole thing. For as many people who are so upset that Disney is, so progressive and, supporting all these things that conservative right-wing people in America don't like, forever Disney has always only had one parent or no parent, which goes against traditional, and I'm putting them in quotes for people who can't see, traditional family values.
Mm-hmm.
A family's a family's a family. Love is love.
Yeah.
But I think it's just interesting that, all these people weren't upset about that 20, 35 years ago.
Yeah.
So, following into we won't get political here. We won't get political.
I was actually gonna mention that last podcast that we did, a Goofy movie about the parents, but I totally forgot. So good
I
thing
was
we
going to
mentioned it
too,
in
and
this one.
I also forgot too, but it's okay.
Hmm.
But see, that goes to show it's just a commonality amongst Disney movies. They either have no
Yeah.
parents or one parent, and oddly enough, it's usually a father.
Yeah, I've
The
noticed that
mom
too.
is always dead.
Not just gone somewhere, she has died.
Yeah, she's like, actually now, yeah, I could name off
Yeah.
probably most of the Disney princesses.
Hmm.
Their moms are all dead.
Yeah,
That's depressing.
it is very depressing.
Thanks, Merida. And Mulan. Moana? I don't know.
Oh.
We'll do that for like another recap. Anyways, moving on to Beauty and the Beast. We now flash forward several years later into this very cute little French town, and that's where we meet Belle, our main character. She is the daughter of an inventor whose name is Maurice, and we meet her going into town to exchange her books. She loves reading, and while we meet her, she sings this little song, which I thought was called This Provincial Life. It's actually just called Belle.
Oh.
I looked it
I
up.
would have guessed that too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, weird. It's just called Belle, but I guess it makes sense because we meet her. But basically, the whole song is Belle and the town singing about how she is such a weird and odd girl. She's really pretty, but she's just weird. And what makes her weird is she reads books.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that. Is what makes her weird is that she reads?
Yes, that's 100% what it is. She's weird because she reads, which is what I love about her, because I'm a huge reader, and she was actually, when I was a kid, one of the like main, like, I can be pretty and read. I just got the reading part. It's fine. What makes her weird and different is that she reads. She has no intent and purpose of trying to be someone's wife, trying to do all the things that you do in this little town. But we go through the town while she's singing, talking about how weird she is, and we meet the town hunk / bad guy, Gaston.
The town hunk.
Well, he's supposed to be like the most pretty boy, or he's the prettiest man in town.
Yeah.
That's
Go on.
Gaston, the prettiest man in town. He basically tells his little sidekick, LeFou, that he wants Belle for his wife. And he specifically wants Belle for his wife because she is the prettiest girl in town. And he deserves the prettiest girl in town, doesn't he?
Yes. Yep.
What a dick. I actually, fun fact, went to Disneyland. When I go to Disneyland, I dress up in all Beauty and the Beast stuff because it's my favorite. I got the ears, a button, shirts, and I saw Gaston once, and I wanted to go up and take a picture with him, but it was time for his break.
Uh-oh.
So
I was gonna say you wanted to go punch him in the face.
no, I wanted to do like, could I do a picture of like of me like doing a weird face?
Like
and
he
you being
disapprove.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
but he had to go on his break for Florida law. So while they're continuing to sing the song, at the end, Gaston finally comes up to Belle and tells her, like, Belle, you shouldn't be reading. Like, you should be my wife. Like, don't you want that? And there's a line that struck me where he takes her book and keeps throwing it in the mud, which bothers me because that book is ruined now. But this is a cartoon, so the pages stay white, and she just, like, wipes off the mud.
I was gonna say it's very clean after she picks it up.
Yeah, but Gaston tells Belle it's not right for a woman to read. Then she starts getting ideas and thinking.
Women can't think for themselves.
That's a word-for-word quote from a Disney movie. Women shouldn't read because they start getting ideas and thinking. Gross.
This is my dog. Sorry. She came into the frame.
Guys, another thing of today, Nicole doesn't have any dog sitters, so her dogs are there.
Sorry.
They're going to be
see
here.
them popping in and out.
Which is okay because we love them. You girls think, you little dogs.
Yes.
Yeah, I got very enraged by this comment because, again, this isn't very pro women. It's not pro girls, who I feel like is your target audience here with these Disney movies, especially the Disney princess movies.
Yeah.
That's probably naive to say, but like back in the 90s, they really were trying to be like, little girls, you want to be these princesses. And then here you are saying, please don't read, because then you'll start to think.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think, or we discussed it before, that we didn't notice it the first time around.
I didn't notice that the first time around.
Yeah.
But it hit me this time enough to literally write it down quote for quote.
Yeah.
But Belle tells Gaston, I don't want to be your wife. Just leave me alone. And he says, like, oh, you and your kooky little dad, Maurice, he's such a crazy guy. You guys are outcasts. My question is this. If everybody thinks they're such outcasts in town, why do they live there?
Why does Belle live there?
Why do Belle and Maurice live in this town that they're both outcasts?
I don't know. It could be maybe a town that they grew up in and never left. But I mean, since he's an inventor, I mean, he doesn't seem very good at it, but I don't assume that he's making like contraptions for everyone else in the town either.
No.
So I don't know. But I mean, to be fair, they're kind of like on the outskirts of the town.
Yeah,
where
they
their
do
actual
live,
house is.
Yeah, they do live like literally across the river over a bridge in like a
Yeah.
little farm.
Yeah.
But during this conversation Belle and Gaston are having, and he's making fun of her dad, you then hear an explosion from their house, and she runs home to find Maurice in the basement working on his newest invention, which is an automatic wood chopper, like a axe that comes down to like chop your wood so you don't have to. And of course it blew up in his face, and that's where Belle kind of asks him like, Papa, am I weird? Like, and he's like, why would you ever think that? Hand me that wrench. Because Maurice is just kind of he is a kooky character. He's fun.
Yeah.
But he basically tells her, no, you're not. You're a smart girl. You're nice. You're pretty. You should find a man. Maybe that Gaston. No, Maurice. If you knew what Gaston was saying.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd be pushing it. But he fixes his invention and he gets it to work. And they're both flabbergasted because you're right. Apparently none of his inventions work.
Yeah. Well, and this wood chipper has like a lot of unnecessary things on it.
But it's also apparently, I looked it up, this is supposed to be like France in the 1700s.
Oh.
So like I think in order to get like a wood, like it's running off of like coal and a fire. I think to get all that to work, you did need 18,000 parts instead of like the 2 that we have now.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah. So flabbergasted that Maurice's wood chopping machine works, he literally tells Bill, get Philippe ready. I'm going to the convention. Because there's a convention going on. So, he straps his invention to their horse Philippe, and he tells Belle, I'll see you later. She says, good luck at the convention. Maurice then starts traveling through these woods, which I'm just like, again, where are you guys? Because these woods are really dangerous looking.
Like legit woods in the middle of nowhere.
Like creepy forests with no trees, but howling wolves all over.
And random road signs that like have half the letters missing.
Yeah, which I've heard that, which I wish I knew this. I've heard that some of the signs actually say like Disneyland. Like it's another like.
Really?
Yeah, and I tried to like look at it, but I didn't at the time think about it.
I'll have to go back and look.
Yeah, anybody on YouTube, friends, if you know what the signs say, please tell us, because I think that would be very interesting. Another Easter egg for you. But they do come to some road signs, and Philippe says, we got to go this way, the horse. And Maurice says, no, let's go down the completely spooky Headless Horseman Sleepy Hollow looking lane.
It's a shortcut.
It's a shortcut, he says. So Maurice takes Philippe that way, and of course, they then get attacked by wolves. They're on the run. Maurice starts blaming Philippe, like he's the one who took him that way, which is not true. But at a certain point, Philippe knocks Maurice off of his back, and he makes a run for it. Maurice then starts going to look for shelter, and he comes across this amazing-looking castle that seemingly looks deserted. He just lets himself in. Like, I don't even think he knocks. I think he just, like, opened the door and was like, hello?
I think so. And the door's randomly open, too.
The door's randomly open. He's just letting himself into this castle. And we hear little whispers of people talking, but we don't know who they are yet, as Maurice is walking through the foyer. And he finally comes across a table and hears voices again and grabs the candlestick, again, that is already litten. Litten? Lit?
Litten?
Litten? Lit.
Lit?
Already lit. Lit. Lightened? The candle that's already lit. And we find out that the people who are talking are the candlestick and this little Godfather clock there, which we find out later are our characters Lumiere and Cogsworth.
Mm-hmm.
They tell Maurice, oh, come on inside. We will get you warm by the fire. Or Lumiere says that. Cogsworth is like, no, the master will be really upset. I wrote down in my notes, these people that we meet that are the candlestick, the clock. We meet Mrs. Potts and her son Chip, which she's a teapot and a cup.
Mhm.
And then we meet a little dog that's a footstool. These guys have no chill introducing themselves to people. Like, they don't even stop and think like, hey, we're talking candlesticks. Maybe take a second to process.
I think probably because they've been like that so long, and they're just happy to see a human person come through the door.
Probably.
I don't think they probably think that.
Probably, but they're just like rolling out one after the other. Maurice,
Mhm.
of course, he's an inventor, so he starts tinkering with them, trying to figure out how they work. And when that happens, the Beast comes in, and he is upset that Maurice is here. He says, "You're trespassing. What are you doing here? You need to get out." Maurice says, "I was looking for shelter. Like, please don't throw me out." Then the Beast decides, "I'll show you where to go," and he throws him in the dungeon, which I never really understood because it's like unless you are, love is love. If you want to fall in love with Maurice, the Enchantress did not say you had to fall in love with a woman or what age she had to be.
Yeah.
You just had to be in love with her too, and you had to be
Mhm.
under 21. But like,
Sure.
why keep Maurice if he can't do anything for you?
Yeah. I think he's just full of anger, and if it's not a woman, he's just gonna throw them in his like little jail that he has.
I guess so.
He has anger issues. He's
He
just
really
yelling
does.
at everybody, which, I mean, yeah, there's some random stranger in his living room in his chair, but I feel like it didn't need that big of a reaction.
No, he needs to calm down. But he throws Maurice in the dungeon, and then we cut back to the little village where Gaston has decided he's going to basically tell Belle that he's going to ask Belle. I keep on using quotes because this is a lot of aggressive, unwanted attention that Gaston is putting on Belle.
Yeah.
And he's decided he's going to ask Belle to marry him and then immediately have the wedding. He's got the band. He's got these 3 women who have made the cake and they're obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Which I remember when we were younger, we always said, which hairdo of theirs would we like? Do you remember that?
No, because didn't they all have the same hairdo?
They don't. They're triplets, but they all have different hairstyles.
I thought they all had the same hairdo.
Nope. I always wanted the girl with the swoop and the ponytail.
I do not remember that, but
I think she's the green dress.
Oh.
Anyways, Gaston tells LeFou when him and Belle come out after she says yes to the proposal, start the band, we're going to have the wedding. Gaston goes inside, tells Belle, again, very aggressively, you know, it'd be great if I had a little wife and we went to a hunting cabin and there was food on the table and my wife massaging my feet and all of our strapping boys, 6 of them, on the floor playing with the dogs.
Yeah.
Again, Belle doesn't want that.
Yeah, no.
Doesn't want that
Clearly.
with Gaston, especially.
Definitely not. I don't think she would want that with any man.
No, I don't.
She seems very independent.
She doesn't, which then leads me to what I'm going to say in 2 seconds, but basically throws Gaston out. How dare he? What? Oh, okay. Also, again, guys, so Nicole's headphones have lost battery. Guys, again, mom and pop. We are a mom and pop shop. I don't know why you guys are expecting more from us. Yeah, Nicole, she just typed it in the chat. I know your headphones are out. Oh, boy. Just, here we are. Gonna have to go through it.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, but can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. I should put in a little song like, waiting for Nicole's headphones. If I was smart enough, I would have put that earlier. But it's okay. She's back. She can hear us now.
Yeah, that just goes to show, too, because I said, should I charge my headphones before we do this? And I decided not to.
It's too late now.
I know. We are.
20 minutes in. So, going back to, Belle has kicked Gaston out, and she goes into a reprisal of Belle / provincial life, and she says one of the famous lines where she wants adventure in the great wide somewhere, which I have a shirt that actually says that. And at the time, it made me really pumped, but knowing what happens in the rest of the movie, I'm like, keep it in mind, Nicole. Let's ask ourselves at the end, do we think that Belle found her adventure in the great wide somewhere by the end of this movie? Okay. While she's singing this song in her fields, Philippe runs back. The horse runs back, still has the invention strapped to his back, but no Papa, no Maurice. So Belle starts freaking out. Where is Maurice? Take me to him. Which I also think is very funny. Like, Philippe didn't know where he was going in the first place. Now he's going to all of a sudden take her to him.
But he does. He takes her.
He
knows
does. He
exactly where
does.
he is.
Philippe does end up taking Belle back to the castle where Maurice is being held. And again, she just walks right in, starts saying, hello, is anybody there? Hello. And all of the objects inside are like, oh, there's a girl in the castle. So she starts walking through, trying to find her dad. Lumiere decides this is the girl that's going to break the curse. This is the girl that's going to fall in love with the beast and change them all back into being human. I want to know. Whatever's happening is very loud.
It's my dog chewing on her toy.
Oh my goodness. I want to know, if Belle was ugly, would Lumiere have been like, oh, this is the girl?
I mean, I feel like he's going to say that with any girl that walks through. Because this is the first girl, isn't it? In all the years that they've been...
See, I don't know. Have ugly girls come through and they're like, Put her in the dungeon. We're good.
I'm confident in saying he's just saying that to any girl.
Because
I feel like... I don't know. But then again, I don't know how many years have gone by that they've been like these figurines.
Furniture? Pieces of house. I don't know, but it just struck me because they say that Belle is beautiful so many times in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Like
so many times. Everybody does. Like, I don't think I noticed it as a kid, but I noticed it this time around, how constantly that is the one thing people care about her, basically.
Yeah.
Except for her dad, but he even tells her how beautiful she is.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just one of those things where I was like, if this was like Cinderella's ugly stepsisters walking through, like, hello, would they have been like, it's a girl? Like, I just, I don't know. That would be an interesting, funny twist. Like, what if like a normal looking woman walked through? Would the beast still be like, ooh, I don't know about this? Love is love again. But Belle starts looking through the castle, and Lumiere and Cogsworth start leading her, like, with the light, the candlelight. She can't see who it is, but she can see candlelight moving towards the dungeon. She finally comes across her dad in the dungeon, and the beast comes in and tells her, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes. I'm trying to figure out where I am. The beast comes in and tells her, like, you can't be here. He's my prisoner. And she says, like, can't you see he's sick? He needs to get out. He's coughed like one time. I don't know if he's sick, but okay.
I'm pretty sure he was looking a little pale.
But he's a white character. He looks pale. Like, he just, I don't know. Like, she's just like, he's sick. He could be dying. He's coughed one time in the 2 minutes you've been there, Belle.
She can tell her own father is sick.
Sure. But she decides that she is going to take Maurice's place. She has offered her place as the beast's prisoner to let Maurice go. And the beast agrees. Mm-hmm. He very violently picks up Maurice, throws him into a creepy looking carriage, and says, take him to the village. Which looked like something from a Tim Burton movie. Could be something from a Tim Burton movie. Even the sound was like, I can't.
Actually, it reminds me of, for some reason, like the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland.
I could see that. Well, could have been intentional. But when the beast comes back up to Belle, she's crying and she's upset. You didn't even let me say goodbye to my father. He then gets word from Lumiere saying, like, this could be the girl. You need to offer her a nice place to stay. So the beast says, follow me, I'll show you to my room. She's surprised, thought she's living in this tower the whole time. He takes her through the castle and tells her, you have free range to roam wherever you like, except for the West Wing. Yep. Or the East Wing? One of the wings. Yeah.
West Wing.
For the West Wing. And she says, why can't I go there? And he says, because it's forbidden.
Again, he's very aggressive.
I think he just has a lot of pent-up anger. Or maybe ugly girls have been coming this whole time and he's upset. I don't know. I shouldn't be bagging on the ugly girls. Everyone's beautiful. But this is what I also thought was interesting. If she had one, did he offer Maurice the same thing? Like to have full range? And Maurice was like, no, I'm good.
I doubt it.
Okay. Secondly, if she had full range to roam about the castle, why didn't she just leave?
Because she felt like I don't know. She's being held hostage, basically.
He just said you have free range.
Still.
I was just like, okay, bye.
Premises.
See, this is where Belle's smarts could have came into handy had she really thought about it. He shows her to this lovely room, 4-poster bed, everybody's dream bedroom. And I thought it was very interesting because she starts crying and runs and throws herself onto the bed and starts crying like that. And I know when I was upset when I was younger in Japan, I used to do that because of movies like this.
So dramatic.
Yeah, there's no reason for it other than, being dramatic. It doesn't make you cry anymore. It doesn't make you cry any less. It's for cinematic effect.
Oh, yeah.
So during this time, Maurice has made it back to town, and he is being like, he's freaking out. His daughter just got captured by a beast. So he goes into the one place that everybody is, and it's the pub. Mm-hmm. And Gaston is in there, LeFou's in there, and they have just gotten done singing a very upbeat number about Gaston and all the things he can do.
And how everyone wants to be like him.
Yeah. And like, he eats 6 dozen eggs. He's the size of a barge.
He's eating the eggs with the shell on.
Nicole, he just needs the protein.
Yes.
Clearly just needs the protein, but has this huge number. And I hate to say this because I love him so much as an actor. Of course, I loved the Emma Watson, Dan Stevens version of Beauty and the Beast that came out a couple years ago, the live action version. It's really good. And Emma Watson made a lot of really great positive changes to Belle, which I really appreciated. But Josh Gad did such a wonderful job playing LeFou in the live action version that looking at the cartoon version of LeFou, I just see a cartoon version of Josh Gad. Mm-hmm. He just does such a great job that I couldn't get him out of my head looking at him. And they look nothing alike. Or
so I have nothing to compare to.
Okay. Well, if you ever do go see it, let me know. Josh Gad, props out to you. You did a really good job. But they're done singing this amazing "No One Looks Like Gaston" number. And Maurice comes in saying Belle's been captured by a beast. And they all start making fun of him, like, oh, was he huge? Was he snarly? And Maurice is like, yes, he's all these things. And they just write him off as being like a crazy person and throw him out in the snow. But Gaston starts to think of an idea. And he tells LeFou his little idea. And then we cut back to Belle at the castle. It's her first night. She's still dramatically crying on the bed. Gets a knock at the door. In comes Mrs. Potts and Chip. That's when she meets these characters for I don't know what they are, anthropomorphic characters for the first time.
Sure.
Again, no chill. Just here's a cup of tea. He has a voice. He's got eyes. Chip is the most worthless piece of cup. Nobody can drink from him.
Because it tickles.
I know, but people try, and then he starts laughing or blowing bubbles, and then he just walks out with a full cup of tea.
Well, I mean, he's a child.
He is a child, little Chip. But yes, sorry. Again, looking at my notes, try to keep on track. So the Beast, when he put her up there, had said oh, you need to come down for dinner, and she tells them, I'm not going to dinner. I refuse. So Cogsworth has to go downstairs and report to the Beast that she's not coming down for dinner. And he again loses his temper and runs up to her and says, if you don't eat with me, you don't eat at all. And she's like, fine. Very dramatic.
Yeah.
A couple hours later, Belle is hungry because she's a human being, and she starts roaming about the castle and goes into the kitchen and comes across Mrs. Potts talking to the chef. And this I thought was very funny. Mrs. Potts tells Chip it's past his bedtime to get into the cupboard with his brothers and sisters.
Which there's 50 of them in there.
There's 50 cups sleeping in there.
The other thing too, so I'm assuming, we kind of touched on it, but I'm assuming years have gone by. And do they not age?
Well, that's another thing. When we find, spoiler alert, at the end when we see what these people look like, it is very strange. Does that mean that Chip, who I'm assuming is probably 6 or 7, was an infant when he was turned into a teacup?
I have no idea. Yeah.
The timeline ain't mathin', Disney. Yeah. We make it make sense. But Belle has asked for some food, and Lumiere comes in and says, you know what? We're going to make you some food, but we're going to give you a show, which is probably a good time for me to tell you who actually voices these characters, because now they actually come into real relevance because they start singing. But Lumiere is actually voiced by Jerry Orbach. Do you know who Jerry Orbach is?
I do not.
Do you remember the first iteration of Law and Order? The older gentleman, and then like, oh my God, Benjamin Bratt.
Who always wear the glasses?
No, he does not have glasses. No. He's the cop. His name was Lenny. It's just Law and Order, not SUV. The very first iteration of Law and Order.
I'd have to look to refresh my memory.
Okay, when you see him, you're going to be like, oh my gosh. Yes, I know exactly. Actually, let's do it live on camera. I'm going to text you a picture of Jerry Orbach.
Okay.
Right, guys, here we are making history live on the podcast, sending Nicole an image of Jerry Orbach, who voices Lumiere. And then we have Angela Lansbury. You know who Angela Lansbury is, right?
No. You remember? I never know actors' names. I need to know like what characters they play.
But it doesn't help you when it's animated because you don't see what they look like.
No, right. Another movie they're in.
Angela Lansbury was played Jessica Fletcher in Murder, She Wrote.
Have I even seen that?
Angela Lansbury.
Yes. Okay, I know who you're talking about.
She just got the picture of Jerry Orbach. We know who he is. All right, so he plays Lumiere. And then wait, why am I texting you when you can just look it up on your phone?
Because it's faster.
What? It is not, though. It's not. Okay. Texting you a picture of Angela Lansbury right now. Oh, wait, it didn't save to my... Hold on, guys. Sorry, everybody. This is what we do in real life. Save the photos.
It is. Because I never know actors' names.
You sure don't. Okay. Angela Lansbury plays Mrs. Potts.
Oh, yes. I do know her.
Okay, she knows who both of them are. So they scooch Belle into the dining room, and they tell her... I love this line. They tell her that you're our guest, and we now proudly present your dinner. And they go into this amazing show, like a Vegas show with all the food, all the utensils, all the kitchenware, everything, putting on this great dance routine. It's actually one of the 2 scenes in this movie that use computer animation.
Oh, huh.
I don't know if you noticed that. This is like a traditional, what is it called? This is like a traditional animated movie, but they started using CGI specifically in this movie to get this be our guest scene and then a scene later because of its extravagant and complicated details.
Makes sense.
So Belle sits there. She's enjoying the show. The show ends, and she asks Cogsworth and Lumiere to please show her around the castle.
Yeah.
They're going around the castle. And
the whole time, the purpose of this was because she was hungry, and she never ate.
Oh, yeah. She tries the gray stuff, and that's it.
Yeah.
I actually thought that too. And it took me a while to realize. I was like, wait a minute. How many servants does he have if he can do like a whole entire synchronized swimming number with spoons? But then I realized I think the people are only the objects that have eyes and mouths. There are other objects
and stuff are just magic.
I think they're just enchanted. Yeah. They're not actually people that were turned into spoons. I think that they're just spoons come to life.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So after the show, she asks, oh, actually, I forgot to say that. Back to our timeline thing. In the song Be Our Guest, Lumiere says that we've been rusting for 10 years. That was more of a Dracula impression, not French. But he says 10 years. So does that mean that the prince got enchanted when he was 11?
I guess so. Unless it's just like an exaggeration.
We should start an offshoot of our podcast where we take like one plot hole or question and do like an investigative report episode.
That'd be good.
Season 2. Okay. Yeah. So after the show, Belle asks, can you please show me the castle? Lumiere and Cogsworth take her through, and she tries to escape up to the West Wing, and they say, no, you can't go there. We have a library instead. We'll show you that. And she says, okay. And then she sneaks away. She goes up into the West Wing and finds a room that is completely trashed.
Yeah, it's scary. It's dark.
It's
Wolf
trashed, and
scratches a wolf. I don't know what he is, but
he's a beast.
fair. Okay, but a beast can mean any type of animal.
True, but he's wrecked the place basically.
Yeah.
And he or she sees up on the what is it called? Balcony, that there's this rose floating on the table, very enchanted, very pretty looking. And she goes up to it. Like, these Belle and Maurice have no manners. You don't just go into people's house touching stuff. She goes and takes off the glass cover of the rose and is about to touch the petal.
Yeah, that's floating.
Yeah, when the beast comes up, is like, no! Do you realize what you could have done?
So if she did touch it, does that mean everything's over?
Well, no, because some of the petals have started falling, but I think that if Night, be quiet, please.
If you hear that, I have 2 dogs that are wrestling underneath my feet.
I think if she had just touched it, an extra petal would have fallen, but it's just another petal down.
Okay.
Right?
I don't know.
You don't?
No, I don't.
So he tells her, like, do you realize what you could have done? She starts freaking out. He is basically on the verge of attacking her and, like, yelling at her to get out.
Yeah.
So then she does what I said she should have done in the first place. And she grabs her coat and she's like, promise or not, I can't stay here.
Yeah.
So she leaves. She, like, grabs Philippe and is just like, okay, I'm out. They go into this creepy forest again and get attacked by wolves. In the middle of this attack, the beast comes and helps her. And he gets totally, like, attacked by the beast, and he passes out. And she's about to leave. She decides, I can't leave him here.
Yeah.
So she somehow muscle womans this giant beast up onto Philippe's back.
I wrote that down too. I was like, how did she get him up there?
She did, and she takes him back to the castle, and she basically brings him back to health, like tends to his wounds and says thank you for saving my life. Then starts their love affair. We see them playing in the snow. We see them bonding. And there's one moment where literally the beast says, he's never felt this way about anyone.
She says the same thing, doesn't she?
Y'all have been there for a day. It's been a day, Disney. Like,
if he was 12 or 11 when this happened, then he probably hasn't felt this before.
But it just bothers me. It's like, this is what I think in my mind. Why sometimes I have such, like, skewed images or, like, ideas of what love is. Disney has taught me that you can fall in love with someone in a day, and most of the time you were yelling at them.
Yeah.
Like, that's not love. That's truly an abusive, toxic situation.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that do, like, talk about how this movie is, like, a huge not poster child, but, like, a huge example of Stockholm Syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Belle starts falling in love with her captor, which is exactly what Stockholm Syndrome is. But Disney said, no, it's romantic.
Yeah.
Love him. Also, he's a beast. She's a human. It's physically not going to work. Like, just
we
not
live
going to happen.
in this magical world of Disney, so anything goes.
I guess so. Those dogs, they're killing me, Smalls. They're killing me. So the beast says he's never felt this way about anyone before, and he wants to give her something.
Mm-hmm.
So he takes Belle to his library and tells her, all these books are yours. And she's so excited, which is like my dream. Like, I've told Shane so many times, please build me a library. That's right. I want a library in my house, just like the beasts. Like, it's such a nice library with so many books.
Yeah.
We then go back to the town, and we meet up with Gaston and LeFou, who have now taken a meeting with this old, creepy, crypt keeper-looking man, who we find out runs the locals' insane asylum.
He looks like the Grim Reaper.
Oh, Crypt Keeper, Grim Reaper, yeah. He's creepy looking. He needs to see sun. But basically, they tell him, this is our plan. Maurice was in here talking about a beast that doesn't exist. He's a crazy man. Yeah. We're going to throw him in your insane asylum, and we're going to tell Belle the only way to get him out is for her to marry Gaston.
Yeah.
which is blackmail and false imprisonment.
Yes.
Disney, we're racking up the crimes here.
Well, and I wrote, hold on, let me get my notes. But I wrote like one of the lines down that he says.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in like the song that they sing, but he says, "No one persecutes innocent crackpots like Gaston." And he's talking about Maurice in this scenario.
LeFou says that?
Yeah.
Oof. So he has a record of this.
Apparently.
There's been a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, Gaston, he's the beast. What?
Yeah, I would
it.
agree.
He's the beast. So the Crypt Keeper has decided, the Grim Reaper, he loves this plan. They're going to go get Maurice.
Mm-hmm. And
they go to Belle and Maurice's house, and inside, Maurice is in there saying, if nobody's going to help me get Belle, I'm going to find that castle again, and I'm going to go save her.
Mm-hmm.
He stuffs his bag with useless tools, like a protractor, like
it also looks
some
like
receipts.
He looks like he has like maps, but
they're
sure
just
you don't have maps of that area.
Yeah, if you did, you wouldn't have gotten lost the first time around.
Yeah.
But he very coincidentally in the time is leaving his house into the forest as Gaston and LeFou and the insane asylum man come up, and he says, "Hey, LeFou, you're going to stay here until Belle and Maurice get back." LeFou's like, "Great." Then we cut back to the castle where Belle and the Beast, they're doing things together. Like I said, they're playing in the snow. They're in the library. They're reading books to each other. They're eating lunch together. But Belle is using a spoon and the Beast is like chomping down like a pig. Which again, how long has he been a beast that he forgot how to use a spoon?
His hands are probably too big.
But Dad's hands are huge. He knows how to use a spoon.
It would be fine if he just like was a little cleaner when he was slurping it.
Sure, but she finds common ground and she drinks it like a soup as well.
Mm-hmm.
We then cut to a new scene where the Beast is getting ready for what looks like a very fancy night out. He's getting his hair done by like some coat rack. Lumiere and Cog are saying like, this is the night. This is the night that you guys are going to say you love each other and we're going to turn back into humans. And the Beast is like, I'm so nervous. I don't know what to do. And he decides to go on this date with Belle, and they come down the staircase in probably the most iconic scene of this movie, where they come down in the staircase. Belle is in her beautiful yellow golden dress that I myself
had as
my
a child.
friend's mom made us all dresses like that for Halloween, and I wore it all the time, like not just on Halloween.
Not on Halloween, yeah.
Like, I loved that dress, which now I look at, I'm like, it's alright. Like, it's cool.
It had no poof to it, but
yeah, it was. Oh, mine didn't, but it's okay. No, I meant Belle's dress now is okay. Like,
oh, yeah.
She looks great. But the Beast comes down in this amazing, like, blue tuxedo where I'm just like, where are you getting your clothes from?
Yeah.
Who's making these Beast-sized clothes? It's been years.
That magic closet that Belle has in her room.
Oh, the wardrobe? Could be. Touche. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they go down the steps, they meet each other, they have dinner, they then go into the ballroom and they dance. And this is the second scene that used CGI to make the ballroom as detailed and the camera movements look like it was really a camera like on a crane like you would see in live action. And Angela Lansbury sings one of the best Disney theme songs, Tale as Old as Time. True as it can be. Neither one afraid.
Is that
Something
your
about the
favorite
sun.
Disney song? Is that why you're...
It is, and I will be walking down the aisle when I get married in October to a version of it.
Oh, goodness.
Shane has no idea. It's okay. He can pick the music out, but I'm picking the music in. But after their dance, which I think is also funny to see how small Belle is compared to the Beast, he literally can hold her entire waist in the palm of his hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is one of actually the changes that Emma Watson made in the live action version. She wanted no corsets. She did not want her waist to be cinched in because she didn't think it was a good message for younger girls, and agreed.
I like that.
So after the dance, they go out to the balcony and the Beast asks Belle, "Are you happy with me?" And she says, "Of course I'm happy, but I miss my father. I wish I could see him one more time."
Mm-hmm.
And the Beast says, "I have a way for you to do that." He takes her back up to the floating rose. I don't know what else to call it. And says, "Here's this mirror where you can see anything you want, whatever you ask." And she asks, I want to see my father, please. Which I thought was a nice touch. And they show Maurice out in the horrible forest on the ground coughing. And she goes, he's sick. He's dying. Girl, again. He's coughed one time.
This one's more accurate than the last one because he's actually out in the wilderness with snow. He's probably going to freeze to death.
Yeah, but I'm also just like, Maurice, how long has it taken you to get here? It seems like you left like 3 days ago, and you're still not to the village.
With little legs.
Whatever. He didn't bring no coat. He didn't bring food. It's kind of on Maurice. So because the beast loves Belle, he says, I release you from your imprisonment. Go to your father. And she says, are you sure? And he says, yes. Take the mirror so you can remember me.
Yeah.
Belle says, thank you. She leaves the castle. The beast is very upset. She finds Maurice, takes him home. And when she gets home, there's LeFou on the doorstep, tells Gaston that Maurice and Belle are back. Belle and Maurice start talking, and she tells him, like, the beast is not who you think he is. He's kind. He's changed. And in this conversation, out through her bag, Chip falls out. He was a stowaway. And he says, like, don't you like us anymore? And Belle says, I do. And then there's a knock at the door. And she answers it, and it's the Crypt Keeper, Grim Reaper guy. The insane asylum guy. And he says, like, I'm here for your dad. And she says, like, no, you can't. Like, he's not crazy. Mm-hmm. And then Gaston starts asking Maurice about the beast, and they're goading him on. He was huge. He was big. He was this feet tall. He was roaring. And they grab him, like, that's the grounds for us to put you in the insane asylum.
Yeah.
And they put him in the little insane asylum carriage and basically tells Belle, like, the only way you can get him out is if you agree to marry me. And she says, no, ew. Stop it. He's not lying. I can prove it. And she grabs the magic mirror and says, show me the beast.
Yeah.
And on the mirror, she shows the whole town the beast, and he's snarling and growling. And that's when Gaston.
I was going to say, which was he doing that at that moment? Because when she left, he seemed pretty sad.
Is Jason washing dishes? Mm-hmm. Cool. What? Continue.
In the background, we're trying to film.
Quiet on set. Amateur hour.
Everything.
I think he was in that moment, but it makes sense because remember when she left the castle, he was like roaring because he was sad. So I think this is his crying.
Oh my god, it seems very aggressive cry.
I don't know, but Gaston sees that and he goes into like hunter mode and starts telling the townspeople like, we got to go kill this beast because he's gonna attack us and take our kids.
Yeah.
And Belle is like, no, he won't. The thing that gets me about, they sing it in song. Literally the song's whole hook is like, to kill the beast.
Very aggressive.
Disney is so nonchalant about murder and killing.
Yeah, I would agree.
There's a lot of death and murder and like just death and people dying in Disney movies that you at the time, like, now watching it, I was like, wow, there's a whole song about how they're going to go kill this beast.
Mm-hmm. And they're bringing like their
weapons.
And yeah.
Yeah, like it's a bit much. And I don't know. I guess I never noticed it as a kid. Like it didn't influence me obviously to kill things, but like now I kind of just like, you guys are kind of just brushing this off.
Yeah. I also think too, when we were watching it as a kid, I don't think we're going to notice that type of stuff.
No, I was all just like,
I don't know.
Well, now Jason is microwaving something. Now he's microwaving something.
What? Jason.
Yeah. Killing me, Smalls. Anyway, while Gaston and his townsfolk they're marching to the castle to kill the beast. They have thrown Maurice and Belle into their basement and have locked the door. Chip he's been watching all of this. He sees Maurice's wood chopping machine and decides, I'm going to get that fired up to get Belle and Maurice out of here. While that's happening, while Chip is like getting the machine all ready, the townspeople and Gaston have reached the castle, and this time the door is locked.
Yeah.
And they have to break in, and when they break in, all the wardrobe, the chef, everybody starts attacking the townsfolk. Like they're defending their castle.
Mm-hmm.
But Gaston goes and he goes to like find the beast. And the beast is very sad and he's depressed. And Gaston literally just walks in and like shoots an arrow. Like no introduction, just like boom! Yeah. Shooting him with an arrow.
Well, and the beast is too sad to do anything.
He is. And the beast be looking ripped in that shirt. Like, it was a bit confusing for me. I was like, okay, interesting. I did. I definitely did. But he attacks the beast and they start fighting, and the beast won't fight back because he's just like, I don't want to be this person anymore. I'm in love now. I don't want to be this person. And Gaston picks up on that, and he basically tells him, which he says, like, did you love her? Did you really think that she would want you when she had someone like me? Belle didn't have you, Gaston. Like, no means no.
He's to fight, basically.
He is. He's trying to make it seem like he's better than he is.
Mm-hmm.
But during this time, Chip has finally got the machine running, and he ends up sending it straight through the wooden doors to the basement, and Maurice and Belle are now out. So they are now on their way to the castle to stop what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And the Beast and Gaston's fight has now traveled onto the roof. The Beast now gets really pissed. And he has Gaston by the throat hanging off of the building.
Yeah,
and he's going to kill him. And Gaston, of course, is like, no, don't do it. Turning all, crybaby.
Yeah.
And the Beast finally puts him down because, yes, he's changed. And that's when Dorothy. The Wizard of Oz, different movie. That's when Belle and Maurice show up. And she's just like, no. And the Beast is like, oh, Belle. And then Gaston hits him. And he falls off the roof. And she rushes up to try to, like, go up there and save them.
Yeah.
And somehow Gaston falls. And the Beast looks up to the balcony, and Belle is finally there, and he crawls up to her to, like, you came back for me. You came back. And she's like, of course I did. Mm-hmm. About to probably tell him how she feels. And then Gaston
stabs him
in the side with a knife, but forgets to hold on, and he falls off.
Yeah.
And, like, literally falls off into, like, the ravine and dies.
Mm-hmm.
Because murder. Well, that was an accident. That was Gaston's fault.
The stabbing's a little aggressive too, I feel like.
It really is. Again, Belle adrenaline kicks in, and she just grabs the Beast and carries him over the side of that balcony, lays him down on the ground, and they then confess their love to each other. And she does it right when the Beast dies. But when she says, I love you, they pan over to the floating flower, and that's when the last petal falls.
Dun, dun, dun.
Did she make it in time? She did! Because then fireworks start falling from the sky. And then the Beast starts twirling, and he starts transforming.
But he's wrapped up in like
in his cape.
Yeah, but he looks like a butterfly that's about to come out of his, like, cocoon.
Yeah, like he started, like, his feet turn into toes and human feet. I don't know how to differentiate that. His hands, his claws turn into fingers.
Yeah.
He just turns into a human man. And when he gets back down on the ground, he wakes up and he's like, it's me, it's Belle. And you see the man whose picture has been slashed in the bedroom. You see that this is the same guy. And she's just like, I don't know if you're the same. She starts touching him. Then she focuses on his eyes, and it's the same blue eyes that the Beast had. She's like, it is you. And they kiss each other.
Yeah.
This is where I've decided I don't like the way that this prince looks. I like the Beast better.
Yeah. I actually thought the same, but
like, I think we're just not used to him, and like his voice changes, and I'm like, why couldn't he still have had that like deep, groggly voice? Just not feeling this new prince.
I think they just should have made his features a little
more like the Beast.
Like the Beast, yeah, so that it transfers.
Yeah, just keep some continuity there. But after his transformation, this is when everything transforms. It was nighttime and it was raining. Now it is daytime and sunny. The whole castle transforms. There's no more gargoyles. It's now cherub babies. All Lumiere, Cogsworth, Mrs. Potts, all of them come in and they start transforming into humans. Which is why, again, the timeline, because motherhood can happen at any moment. Bless all of you ladies who do it, but Mrs. Potts is white in the hair.
She's a grandma.
She looks like Chip's grandma.
Yeah.
And it's his mom, and it's very confusing.
Yeah.
But hey, Disney, do your thing. We support older mothers. And yeah, that's how the movie ends on Beauty, or now Belle, and I think his name is Prince Adam. Who knows?
Prince Adam.
I think so. I'll have to look that up. Beauty and the Human Beast dancing again in their nice outfits in the grand ball. And we take it out with the lovely Beauty and the Beast song, now sung by a choir. And that is the end of my favorite Disney movie. So, with that said, a very interesting episode. Nicole.
I apologize for all the background shenanigans.
Don't apologize. Don't apologize too much, because I might be able to cut it all out, but more than likely I will not. Here's the big question. Does this movie hold up, or is it just nostalgia?
I think it still holds up. This is your favorite movie.
This is my favorite movie.
So,
you know what?
It still holds up. I think the message still holds up to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The message?
Yeah, the message. Right? It's not all about your looks.
I don't know. There's a lot of confusion. I don't know. I would like to make a new I don't know. I want to say that it holds up because it is my favorite movie. But truly, there were a lot of things in here that hit me now that I was just like, this is not a message that I would like my young children to hear. I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's a tie for me. This is a holding up of nostalgia. Nostalgia that holds.
Okay. That works.
That works. It is my favorite one, but I realize that it is problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, with that, we are to the end of our episode. You guys got an insight of Nicole's life. It's fine. It is what it is. People love us. Next week, we will be continuing our Disney Classic Month with a movie that Nicole will now pick.
Oh, let's do The Lion King.
Woohoo! We will be doing The Lion King next month. Please make sure that you watch that movie. Come back here and join us. See what we have to say about that. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you guys watching us on YouTube. If you are there, give us a like, give us a follow, give us a comment. Let us know how you felt about this movie, felt about anything we talked about today. If you are on our podcast platforms, we appreciate you guys downloading. If you want to give us a follow over on Instagram at our page, we are at @movienight_podcast. With that, everybody, have a great week. Have a great movie night. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you guys.
Bye.
Bye.